I have just finished the second bowl of half and half, and it just went out on me. It makes me think of cigarettes. It makes me want a cigarette. It's late at night, but I wanted to get this video in, so I'm going to smoke a cigarette right now, not a pipe. This is Troy. It's a K-Woody. It says prime grain, which you can't see. Maybe I'll put a photo. Eventually, I will do a video of this pipe. It's a K-Woody. I believe it's an acorn shape. It's in very good condition. It's a gorgeous pipe. I've got a lot of studying to do to find out more about it. I got to do some digging, I think, because a cursory search isn't producing much. I think it's an absolutely stunning pipe. This is the first pipe that I have bought. Troy, pipe number like 13, maybe. Well, I don't remember. There's okay, let's go through this. There is Sam, Ed, Samuel, Roy, Trish, Jeff, Neil and Neil Jr., Rick, Ricky, Trish, aka Rafferty, Matt, and now Troy. I think that's all of them. I'm going to try and do videos on all of them. This is the first pipe that I've bought that did not have some kind of a story to it, or that I couldn't tell myself that it had a story to it. That there wasn't some kind of a focused intention behind buying it, like a reason why I'm buying it, a specific thing that I'm looking for, some kind of a calculated or methodical approach to going out and getting that next pipe. I bought this one simple and plain for no other reason than I saw it on eBay and said, I gotta have that pipe. Now, every pipe that I buy, I look at it and say, I gotta have that pipe. I've got, like, man, I see a million pipes that I love, that I want. But I could go nuts, and would go nuts, if I let myself buy all of them, right? So I've got to come up with an excuse. I've got to come up with some kind of premeditated excuse. Before I ever go out to buy one, I have held off for a while. I've told myself, I'm going to get one eventually, and I sit down and think about what do I want and why do I want it? What am I looking for? I try to find some theme or some kind of context for the purchase of this pipe. For example, I'm in a major city and I'd like to have a souvenir pipe from every major city that I go to. So I knew before I got here that I was going to stop at a brick and mortar somewhere and hunt down a good pipe. My last pipe taught me XYZ about how draft works, and I want to try a different stem to see what the combination of this shape bowl or with this stem might give me. I'll come up with reasons like that for why I'm buying a certain pipe. The truth is, all of that is just a premeditated excuse to go out and feed that impulse to get the next pipe that catches my eye, right? Well, this is the first pipe that I've bought where I didn't play that game with myself. Because I play this game, I've intentionally avoided looking at eBay. I've this whole time I have not bothered. I will only buy a pipe in person. I will go browse around, look around until I find one that speaks to me, so to speak. And really all that means for me is that it caught my eye, caught my fancy. It was this flashy thing that I saw that was, ooh, I'd love to have that one, you know? And in addition to that, I have added some deeper meaning to it by playing this game of providing a context. I enjoy it. It's fun. It helps me rein in the pipe acquisition disorder, as we say. It does feel to me like it gives more meaning to the purchases that I make. When it comes to pipes, that could just be in my head. I don't think it is, because I try to follow through with restoring them, with sitting down one at a time with each pipe and kind of focusing on it and getting to know it a little bit. It's all subjective, right? So I've stayed away from eBay. We spend money maybe we shouldn't spend, time maybe we shouldn't spend, on all kinds of things, especially in the modern era, especially I would say in the United States, where we are raised on advertising from a very young age. We have it crammed down our throats. Like it or not, try hard as you might, you cannot avoid being materialistic. That's not just an American thing, that's a human thing. It's not just a modern thing or a Western civilization thing. And by the way, these are all just my opinions, okay? Which I've always heard are a lot like, you know what, everybody's got them and they all stink. It's a very human thing. There are a lot of people in the pipe community who are huge fans of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and those books. And so we're all familiar with Golem, right? My precious. That whole that whole thing. That character is so relatable because that's a deeply innate human thing, to be mesmerized by material objects. I feel like in the United States, we can have a tendency to be particularly predisposed to succumbing to that kind of a impulsive, gotta have it, greedy kind of habit when it comes to the way that we live. When it comes to buying the tobacco, going nuts on buying tobacco, giving into that impulse, and I try to rein it in, you know. I hear other people say things that I can relate to, but I'm not going to try to speak for anybody else. I'm just going to speak for myself. It is my channel, after all, right? I try to deal with, you know, I buy things on impulse. I fight the desire to buy things on impulse in many different areas of life. When it comes to pipe and pipe tobacco, it's a little extra fun because it can be so inexpensive and there's so much variety. And I swear, the more that I do this, I've said it before, there really is something deeper going on that I'm trying to get to the bottom of when it comes to this pastime, this activity, this practice of smoking a pipe and learning about it. So I give myself a lot more leeway with this than I do with other things in my life. I tend to try and fight impulsive purchasing a lot more with everything else than I do with pipes and tobacco. When it comes to the tobacco side of it, we'll split these two things, what we call pad and tad. When it comes to the tobacco side of it, you maybe you splurge a little, you spend a little more money than you should have, or at a time when you feel like maybe you shouldn't have, and you get this tobacco in, and the newness wears off really fast, pretty fast, and you kind of feel guilty, you know, if you don't like it. If it's something you like, you're super satisfied, you're happy, you're blown away, this is great. But if I buy a tobacco and then get it home and I don't like it, there's this little feeling of guilt inside. Some part of you knows that it's not because you needed it or because it was really valuable or it really meant something. You're just giving into that impulse to go out and buy some new shiny thing. You know, you kind of feel like Gollum with that ring. Dirty and regretting it. You know, they call it buyer's remorse. They have a million catch terms for everything. It's easy to get over that when it comes to the tobacco, because you can always say, I had no idea, I had no way of knowing what this was going to taste like before I bought it. And everybody's tastes are subjective. Like, it's not my fault if I don't like it. I didn't know what it was going to be like, and now that I've tried it, I just don't like it. Or it could even be an even more legitimate reason, like it burns the crap out of my mouth. You know, I have a sensitivity to this particular blend that I didn't know I was going to have. There are lots of easy excuses to get yourself out of this feeling of guilt over the fact that you splurged a little bit on this thing that maybe you shouldn't have. But when it comes to the pipes, that's not so easy, right? Because I saw it. Maybe I held it. I looked at it. I thought about this thing. I knew the dimensions. I ran through my mind what it would be like to hold it and puff it. It's fantastic. You know, I pictured myself on the porch at sunset with H.H. Pure Virginia. You ran through all that and then bought the damn thing. You thought about it for a little bit, you know, and it cost a bit more than the tobacco does. It's harder to get rid of that guilty feeling that you have for having given into the impulse to buy right then and there. So for those reasons, I've stayed away from eBay. Until recently, I started teasing myself a bit. I did have in mind something specific that I was looking for, and I've exhausted just about all my resources locally. I have looked and revisited the brick and mortars. Funny sound. And I think I've found all that they're going to have to offer for now. And I am looking for a specific thing that I've thought about for a specific reason. And I thought, you know, I'll look on eBay and see what I can find there. And wouldn't you know it, I saw an ocean of things that talked to me. I saw a whole lot of things that I got to have that. I really want that. And I watched these auctions. I watched the days, you know, dwindle down until the auction ended. And I'll hold off. We'll think about it. We'll think about it. And then nah, at the last minute, and then it goes. Somebody else gets it, and there's that little twinge of regret, like could have had that one. I went through several cycles of that over the course of about 2 weeks before I saw this little guy. And I said, I don't give a damn. I'm tired of running myself through this, torturing myself, for crying out loud. It's talking to me. It's talking to me. And I bought it. I said, buy now. I want to buy it right now. Now, granted, I did ask for the dimensions. It is similar to something that I have been wanting. I could keep puking a bunch of excuses to make myself feel better about it, but you get the idea. It came in, and you're probably not going to see this. Oh yeah, you can. The stem is twisted. The stem's twisted, and this thing needs a little bit of work that I was not expecting it to need. Now I'm okay with that because I enjoy working on them, and this is going to be a skill that I haven't acquired yet. This is going to be a new learning experience for me. But it wasn't quite as perfect as I thought it was going to be when I got it. And a little piece of me said, damn. But I don't care. I love smoking these things, and I love buying them, and I'm going to have a blast with it anyways. And it was only a few bucks, you know what I mean? Like, and it's beautiful. Look at this pipe. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I know I'm only showing you one side, but that's because the lighting ain't great. It's a gorgeous it's a smart looking pipe. It's a very handsome pipe. I will be getting married next year, and I've already thought I'd like to have this thing tucked in the tuxedo, you know? I'm already thinking about like how it could accessorize my wedding attire. Right? Like, I love it. It's a great looking pipe. But it is the first one that I bought knowing when I did it that I was giving into that impulse, not trying to make any excuses for that. Does that mean it didn't talk to me in the sense that the other pipes have talked to me? No. It means that I didn't have some kind of response already in my pocket ready to go. I didn't already know what I was going to say back when it started talking. And so now I have to figure that out. It won't be difficult. It will take sitting down and fixing that crooked stem and just smoking it and thinking about it and appreciating it. Being thankful that I live in a time and place where I can have the luxury of feeling bad about something so mundane. All of this is because my mind got rolling from a video that Carolina Rose posted, where she wanted to pick my brain a little bit about this pipe that she had. And I mean, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what to say. The pipe is beautiful. The one that she got's a great looking pipe. She spent a pretty penny on it. You know, what I would consider to be a pretty penny. I've only just recently spent the same amount of money on a pipe myself. I don't regret it. I don't think that she has any reason to regret her purchase. But if you feel a little bit like Golem with that little ring, you're going to have to come up with something to say back to that pipe. You know? I think it is already talking to you. I think that it said, buy me. Buy me. You know you want to buy me. And that can't be a lie. It's saying now, smoke me. You bought me. And I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting here. You bought me, and now I'm just sitting here. Smoke me. It's saying, smoke me. It's saying, you know, you spent a little more than you should have, and now I sit here wasting. Don't you feel a little guilty about that? It's saying all those things to you. Say something back. It can't be lying to you if it's saying all of those things. Those things can't be a lie. If you find something to say back that disproves it, if you give it a reason that's deeper than just, I saw this shiny thing and I just had to buy it. I have to give myself a better reason than that with Troy here. I had to do it with Sam. I do it with every pipe. I tell stories to this camera about the pipes as an ongoing effort to come up with some reason to disprove this idea that it wasn't talking to me. Caroline Rose, that's what I would say. The only option you have is if that pipe just doesn't feel right. Now, Jess Piping, and I think I will do a VR to him. He started this whole thing by talking about pipes that you just don't reach for whatever reason. He's got a totally different situation on his hands. It looks like he bought a pipe that's a piece of crap, pretty much, maybe. Pretty, beautiful, beautiful pipe. Yeah. But I don't know. I think your situation is a lot more like my situations with my pipes, where it's like, I got to come up with a reason why not to feel bad. I got to come up with some reason to not feel bad, because I got it and it wasn't what I expected. So those are my thoughts. Generally speaking, it's probably getting to be a long video, 23 minutes. My videos are long, and I think I'm just going to give in to it. I don't care. Now, as regards that pipe specifically, and some things that you brought up about it, Miss Rose. Yeah, the first thing I thought when I saw it is that's a big pipe. And that's cool because I want one. I don't have one. I have one that I haven't smoked yet. It's got to be cleaned. I've got one that's about that big. I think it's a beautiful pipe. It will take a while to sit down and smoke it. And again, you already know that. It's telling you that. Sit down and smoke it. You know? Take that hour. That's what I would say. If you don't want to, you can always I do this. Pack the bowl a quarter of the way full. Or half of the way full. Some people strongly suggest doing that to break in a pipe anyways. Just start by, slowly build up the amount of tobacco that you smoke out of it. Smoke a half a bowl or a quarter of a bowl for a few rounds, and then they say a half a bowl, and then work your way up to a full bowl. I don't bother with thinking about it that much, but if I want to smoke about a half a bowl, and I want to smoke it in that big pipe, or a bigger pipe, then, if I've got a pipe that the bowl is larger than what I want to smoke, I'll fill it halfway and smoke, half the bowl, whatever. Like, why can't you? You bought it, I would do that. I would sit down with it and make myself smoke it and see if what can I find out there. What's going to change? Because for two reasons. One, because that's the only way I know to give myself a good reason to have spent the time and energy and money on it, to prove to myself that it wasn't an impulsive purchase, or that if it was, hey, that's okay, but I made it worth it in the long run. And the other reason is because I did that with Ed in this video that I posted recently, and an amazing discovery happened, about the properties of that pipe and the mechanics of pipe smoking. I learned some really cool stuff. So for those reasons, I would suggest sit down and smoke it. Make yourself sit down and smoke it, and just see what happens. You know, you don't have to smoke the whole bowl. Another thought that I had about that pipe is that it's, like you said, a sitter that won't sit. Now, if it was like a cheap piece of crap pipe, if it looked like junk, like somebody rushed through it, then you could say, okay, that's a mistake. That pipe is really nice looking. Someone clearly put a lot of time and energy into making it. So it's especially odd that it's a sitter that it won't sit. It's like you can't put that much effort. This is just a thought that came to me, is you can't put that much effort and work into that kind of a pipe and accidentally overlook something so fundamental about it, right? Which makes me think maybe it was intentional. Or maybe they did overlook it, and halfway through the process they realized they had messed up, and they were like, well, then we're going to work extra hard on everything else on this pipe to try to compensate for this big mistake we made in creating a flat bottom pipe that won't sit. Either way, it makes it even more special. It gives it character. The band on the shank is really nice. Really, it's pretty. I dig it, man. You know, maybe the pipe was talking to me through the interwebs. After all, I don't know. I think it's obvious that it's talking to you. And I think that you're right. You know, I think you already know it, and you're already hearing it speak to you. And you just got to say something back. Those are my thoughts. You know, maybe give it a name. Sure. I like naming mine. I have fun with it. I enjoy giving them names and remembering all of them. I'm going to build a pipe cabinet soon, and my fiance had a brilliant idea that the racks that I put in there for the pipes should have the names of all the pipes. Under the, you know, each one has a name, little nameplate. I think that's funny. That's cool. It's a great looking pipe. I can completely relate to whatever whatever I think it seems like you're feeling or thinking about it. The pipe is talking to you. Like, say something back, man.